Yeah, so for chapter 11, we are going to talk about the directed and undirected distances, the Cartesian coordinate system, the distance between 2 points, division of a line segment, inclination and slope, parallel and perpendicular lines, the angle between two lines, and itong area of a triangle and analytic proof, hindi na. So hanggang doon lang, we are going to talk about 7 things dito. Unahin natin yung directed and undirected distances, okay? So, suppose we have a line, meron tayong linya. Draw ako ng isang line. Yan. Suppose we have a line dito. And this line contains 2 points. Okay. Wait. Nakikita niyo screen ko?
Yes, sir.
Yan. Okay, so we have a point here. Okay, we call this point 1. Okay, and we have point here. We call this P2. Okay, so we have 2 points, P1 and P2. So let's have a definition here. So the part of the line between P1 and P2, including P1 and P2. So this part of the line dito, so from P1 to P2, including all these points between them, kapag in-extract natin yan, we call it the line segment. Okay? So a line segment, yeah, so a line segment ends between itong 2 points na to, P1 and P2. Okay? So, ngayon, meron tayong tinatawag na directed distance. Okay? So, a directed line. Okay? A directed line is a line on which a direction has been designated. Okay? So, itong example natin na ito na line, we call it the line L. Walang direction, hindi natin alam ang direction. But if we want to designate a direction sa line na to, we can do it by including an arrowhead. Magkakaroon tayo ng arrowhead dito to indicate the direction of the line. For example, ito. So this is a directed line. Diba? Meron na siyang arrowhead indicating that this line is going to the right. Okay, so this is a directed line. So ngayon, if we want to extract itong point P1 tsaka point P2 dito sa directed line na to, syempre, itong P1 tsaka P2 now is now called a directed line segment kasi nanggaling na siya doon sa directed line. Okay? So, ang ibig sabihin nito, directed line segment. So, ang ibig sabihin nito, kapag kapag parang nagta-travel tayo dito, pag nanggaling tayo kay P1 papunta kay P2, since we are going in the direction of the line L, so positive yung line segment natin. Yeah? So this distance is now called the directed distance, di ba? So yung distance na ngayon, yung P1 to P2 is a positive distance. Pero kabaliktaran nun, kapag ino-oppose natin yung direction ng line, for example, manggaling tayo kay P2 papunta kay P1, meron tayong negative na directed distance. Okay? So ang ibig sabihin nito, magkaiba ngayon yung parang sign ng ating distance kapag positive going from P1 to P2 compared kay P2 to P1. Okay? Ang relationship niyan, Siyempre, yung sa ano, yung P1, P2, ganito pala yung symbol natin for directed line segment. Ano? So from P1 to P2, equivalent siya sa negative ng from P2 to P1. So hindi magkaparehas yung P1, P2, tsaka P2, P1. Ang kaibahan nila, yung direction. Okay? So, nagkaroon tayo ng direction dito. Okay, ngayon, meron tayong tinatawag na fundamental property of a directed line. Okay, so fundamental property of a directed line. Yan. So ngayon, kung meron tayong tatlong points, for example, P1, P2, and P3, the relationship between these 3 points is the directed line segment P1, P3 is equal to P1, P2 plus P2, P3. Yan. So kung meron tayong tatlong points, ito yung relationship niya. Itong relationship na to is true regardless of the relative positions of the points on the directed line. Okay, kung kahit nasaan ngayon si P1, P2, tsaka si P3, this equation holds true. Basta, you have to designate which are, kapag to the right ay positive, to the left ay negative, this equation holds true for whatever relative positions of P1, P2, and P3. Okay? So yan yung fundamental property ng directed line natin. Alright? So ngayon, pag-usapan natin yung number line. Kasi yung number line is an example of a directed line. Okay? So ano ba yung kailangan natin para dito? Kailangan natin ng origin. Number one, ano ang origin? The origin is kung saan nanggagaling ang lahat, siyempre origin. So, suppose we have a number line, ito, and then kailangan nating mag-designate ng origin. Okay? This is the 0. This is our origin. And we have to designate, maglagay tayo ng unit distance. Okay? The distance or unit length. Okay? This is the distance from 0 to 1. So this distance is the unit length. And then nag-designate na din tayo ng direction. Ibig sabihin nito, all going to the right, positive. Otherwise, kung to the left, magiging negative. Okay? So, kapag meron tayo ditong ganito, ayan. So, to the left of the origin, negative. Ayan. Assuming na pare-parehas yung graduation natin dito. Ayan. So, this is what we call a one-dimensional coordinate system or the real number line. Okay? Tinawag na real number line ito kasi there is a one-to-one correspondence between all the real numbers and itong directed line na ito. For example, mai-plot natin dito lahat ng mga real numbers. For example, if you want to plot 1 is, of course, 1 unit to the right of the origin. So, ito siya. Okay? Itong point na to. Yan. Yan. So, how do we designate ngayon yung point na to? The designation, if we call this point P, yung pag-designate ng point whatever na capital letter, okay lang. But for convenience, ang gagamitin natin for point ngayon dito is P, So ito, this is point P. Ang designation natin dito is P of 1. P1, ganyan. Ibig sabihin, itong point P, ang kanyang coordinate, ang tawag natin dito ay coordinate. Okay? This is the coordinate. So, ang kanyang coordinate, ang coordinate ng point P ay 1. So, if we want, for example, P negative 2, or baliwan tayo dito, tanagan na. If you want to plot If we want to plot A, for example, A, -2, so that's 2 units to the left of the origin. So nandito. So this is A, this is point A. Point A is located 2 units to the left of the origin. Okay? So that's how we plot point in the number line. This is the number line or the real number line or one-dimensional coordinate system. Okay? Yeah. So if we have 2 points, for example, ito na lang, P and A, kung meron tayong dalawang points dito, so the directed distance from point P1 to point P2, regardless of the relative positions, P1 and P2 is given by yung distance ng P1, P2, the directed distance between P1 and P2 is equal to the x-coordinate of the second point minus the coordinate of the first point. Okay, for example, ito. Ang first point natin ay A, ang second point natin ay P. Remember, parang nagsa-travel tayo, ang naggapu tayo di point A, mapan tayo di point P. So now, what is the directed distance from point A to point P? So that's A minus P, P minus A, kasi galing tayo kay A, papunta kay P. Diba? So mas maunang isulat natin yung P kasi doon tayo patungo. That's 1 minus, this is the coordinate of point P minus the coordinate of point A, that's -2. Okay? So this is from A to P. Yan. From point A to point P. So ito ngayon ay 3. So the directed distance from point A to point P is positive 3. This is true kasi nagta-travel tayo to the right, di ba? So, syempre, positive ang kanyang directed distance. Whereas, mag-iba ito kapag nagta-travel tayo from point P to point A. Okay? From point P to point A naman, ang designation natin dito ay point P to point A, PA naman. The directed distance is -2 minus 1. So this becomes -3. So magkaiba yung sign ng directed distance, di ba? Kasi nga itong AP is going to the right, itong PA is going to the left, kaya negative yung natin, yung directed distance natin dyan. Okay? So in general, the formula for the distance between 2 points on the number line is ito. Itong formula na to. P1, P2 is equal to x2 minus x1. So, isubtract tayo lang DJ x coordinates na. DJ coordinates na actually. Ayan. Ngayon, kapag ang pinag-uusapan is undirected distance, undirected, ibig sabihin ng undirected distance, ang ibig sabihin ng undirected distance, wait lang. Yan. So kapag sinasabi nating undirected distance, ito wala na tayong pakialam sa direction, Wala na tayong pakialam sa direction ng point. Okay? So ang symbol natin for undirected distance is absolute value actually, Hindi na natin pinapakialaman yung direction. That is why nagkakaroon na tayo ng absolute value. So the absolute value of P1, P2, ganyan na siya. Ito na yung natin, symbol natin for undirected distance. So that's equal to the absolute value of x2 minus x1. So ibig sabihin nito, for undirected distance, wala na tayong negative. It's always positive, the undirected distance. In most cases, lalong-lalo na sa physics and kapag sinabi nating distance, ganyan, kapag sinabi nating distance lang, ang rine-refer natin dito is actually the undirected distance. Okay? Dito naman sa physics, dito sa directed distance, may direction. Ang ano natin dyan usually is displacement. Okay? Pero dito, pag-uusapan natin, dito sa analytic geometry, when I say distance, I mean the undirected distance. Okay? So, ganun lang, yung sa directed and undirected distance. So, kung directed distance, meron tayong direction. Kapag undirected distance, walang yung sense, yung direction, hindi natin pinapakialaman. We just use the absolute value of the distance. Okay? And then ngayon pag-usapan natin yung Cartesian coordinate system. So the Cartesian coordinate system is a two-dimensional, two-dimensional. Itong number line natin nito, this is a one-dimensional coordinate. One-dimensional coordinate system. Okay? Pero yung sa Cartesian coordinate system, di ba, meron na tayong x-axis and y-axis. Yan. So meron na tayong horizontal at meron na tayong vertical axis. Actually, dalawang number line ito, Dalawang number line, yung isa horizontal, yung isa is vertical, di ba? So maraming beses na natin nagamit ito actually sa graphing natin sa algebra and sa trigonometry. Dito, since this is a directed line, kailangan natin ng mag-arrow dito indicating that going to the right is positive at kailangan din ng mag-arrow dito indicating that going upward is positive. Okay? And going downward is negative, going to the left is negative. Okay? So the origin is the intersection between this axis. Ito yung origin natin. Dito, ang pag-plot naman ng points dito, kailangan natin ng dalawa, di ba? Siyempre, kailangan natin ng x-coordinate at kailangan natin ng y-coordinate. Okay, so suppose we have point P nandito. Ang kanyang x-coordinate is the distance of this point to the y-axis. Ito. Kung ano yung distance nito, this is the x-coordinate. Okay? And the distance naman from point P to the x-axis, this is our y-coordinate. Okay? Itong x na to, this is the x-coordinate, this is what we call the abscissa. Ano ang spelling sa abscissa? Ano mo spelling sa abscissa? Wait lang. Double S. C-S-T. Ganyan. Ganyan. Abscissa. This is the abscissa, what we call. The x-coordinate is the abscissa, and the y-coordinate, itong y-coordinate is called the ordinate. Okay? So the x-coordinate is the abscissa, the y-coordinate is the ordinate. Okay? So itong point P, meron siyang x and y coordinates. And to designate the point, dito kanina sa number line, isang number lang ang kailangan. Dito, kailangan natin ng x and y. Kaya kailangan ng dalawang numbers to indicate a point in the Cartesian coordinate system. Okay? So itong Cartesian coordinate system natin, alam din natin na dinivide niya itong plane into 4 different quadrants. Diba? So ito, this is the first quadrant, Q1. Itong first quadrant, meron tayong positive for the x-axis na x yung kanyang abscissa, positive, at yung kanyang ordinate, positive din. Okay? So x is positive, y is also positive. Dito sa quadrant 2, itong x-coordinate niya, since this is to the left of the origin, negative yung kanyang abscissa, positive yung kanyang ordinate. Quadrant 3, both negative, di ba? Ito yung quadrant 3 natin. Negative yung kanyang abscissa at saka yung kanyang ordinate, negative din. And finally, itong quadrant 4, positive yung kanyang abscissa, negative ang kanyang ordinate. Okay, so that's it. Okay, for example, if you want to plot point C, point A na lang, point A, negative 3, positive 4. Yan. So, ito yung kanyang x-coordinate. Palaging ganyan, ano? Itong mas nauunang number, this is always the x-coordinate or the abscissa of the point. Ito naman, this is the ordinate of the point or the y-coordinate. So, negative 3, ibig sabihin that 3 units to the left of the origin. So, if this is 1, 2, 3, this is negative 3, ganyan dapat, ano? Nandyan yung point. And then, pataas tayo ng 4. That's the coordinate. So, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So, yung point A natin ay nasa second quadrant. This is point A with coordinates negative 3, positive 4. Yan. So, ganun lang ano yung mag-plot dito sa X and Y coordinate system natin or the Cartesian coordinate system. So basically, we can plot for all real numbers X and Y, we can plot it on the Cartesian coordinate system. Kagaya kanina sa number line, whatever real number pwede nating i-plot doon sa number line. The same is true dito sa Cartesian coordinate system natin. We can plot any point as long as yung kanyang ordinate, abscissa and ordinate are real numbers dito sa Cartesian coordinate system natin. Okay? Now, if we are given 2 points, for example, in the Cartesian coordinate system, we are given 2 points. Tawagin natin na point P1 and point P2. Okay, so this is the positive x, going upward is positive y. Suppose we have point P1, nandito yung point P1 natin sa third quadrant. Point P1, the x-coordinate is x1, the y-coordinate is x2, at meron tayong point P2 dito. Point P2, meron tayong x-coordinate na x2 and y-coordinate na y2. Okay. So, ang goal natin dito, ang tanong, what is the distance? Okay, what is the distance? Kanina sa number line, madali lang, di ba? We just subtract the coordinates doon sa number line para makuha yung distance between any 2 points. Ngayon, if in the Cartesian coordinate system, how do we solve for the distance between 2 points? Okay, between P1 and P2. So what is the distance between P1 and P2? So to answer this one, mag-draw tayo ng line from point P1 to point P2. Yan. Ayaw Yan. Assuming na nandito na yung points na lang. Yan. Okay? And let us draw a right triangle. Draw tayo ng right triangle dito. Ganyan. So this is now a right triangle. And then we solve for the distances, or the length of the sides of this right triangle. So itong vertical distance na ito, this one, this is actually the difference between y2 and y1, di ba? So this is y sub 2 minus y sub 1. Dito naman, itong distance na to, this is the difference between the x-coordinate. Di ba? x2 minus x1. So if we want to solve for the hypotenuse, gamitin natin yung Pythagorean theorem, di ba? So yung distance between P1 and P2, distance is the undirected, undirected distance is squared is equal to yung side, kahit naman anong mauna. So, unahin natin yung x, diba? So, x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. So, kapag inalis natin itong square na to, we take the square root of both sides. So, the distance between P1 and P2 is equal to the square root of ito, x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. So, itong formula na ito ngayon, this is the formula that we are going to use to solve for the distance of any 2 points na merong coordinate na P1, x1, y1, and x1, y1, and x2, y2. Itong formula na to. Okay? So that's our formula for the distance between 2 points. Okay? I-ano natin para ma-identify ninyo. This is our formula for the distance between 2 points. Yan. Kabisaduhin nyo na yan. This is the formula for the distance. Okay, for example, example natin, okay? So find the distance between 6, 3, and 9, 6. Wait, wrong. Between -3, +1, and 9, 9, 6. Yan. So meron tayong dalawang points dito, no? This is our first point with coordinates -3, 1. Tapos this is our second point with coordinates 9, 6. Okay, it does not matter kung ano yung P1 natin dyan, ano yung P2. Okay, which is P1, which is P2. Kahit ano, okay lang, ano? So kung i-designate natin that P1 is -3, 1, and ang P2 natin ay 9, 6. So our formula for the distance between P1 and P2, okay, so the distance between P1 and P2 is equal to the square root of, yan, so the difference between the x coordinates dito sa una, so that's 9 minus -3, di ba? X coordinate squared plus the difference between the y coordinate 6 minus 1 squared. Yan. So this is 9. This is ito, second x. -3, ito yon. Yung 6, ito yon. 1, yan. 6 minus 1. Ayan. Ang ginamit natin na formula dito ay ito. The difference or the distance between 2-point formula. Okay? And then, using your calculator siguro, we can solve for the distance between P1 and P2. So in this case, the distance between -3, 1 is equal to square root of 100. This is 12, not 12 squared. This is 144. This is 5 squared, that's 25. So 144 plus 25 is 169. Square root of 169 is 13. Okay? So yan na yung distance between P1 and P2. And remember, itong 13 na to is always positive since we are talking about undirected distance dito. Okay, this is undirected distance. So ang sagot natin is always positive. Okay? All right. Another example dito. Find the point find the point on the x-axis that is equidistant from point A with coordinates -2, +3, and point B with coordinates +10, -6. Yan. So, tinatanong dito, ano daw yung point doon sa x-axis na pareho yung distance. Equidistant, ibig sabihin ng equidistant, equal yung kanyang distance, di ba? Equal ang distance niya from point A at point B. Okay? You don't need to draw, pero kung gusto nyong i-draw, pwede din, ano? Okay, pero ang ano natin dito, sige, ano na lang, sketch para ma-visualize natin kung anong itsura nito. Yan. So, point A is on the second quadrant, di ba? So, this is X, this is Y. Point A is on the first quadrant, second quadrant kasi negative yung kanyang X coordinate, positive yung kanyang Y coordinate. Whereas yung point B, positive yung kanyang X, negative yung kanyang Y. So, it's on quadrant 4. So, assuming nandito yung point C. Okay, these are just arbitrary points. Hindi to naka-scale, ano? So, meron daw point, somewhere dito sa x-axis, hindi natin alam, na equal yung distance niya from point A to point B. So, arbitrary lang, kung nandito yung point natin, tawagin natin na point C, meron tayong coordinates ng points na X and Y. So, ang goal natin dito is to solve for the values of X and Y. So, ang gagamitin natin dito, i-ano natin kung ano man yung distance from point A to point C, equal siya sa distance ng point C to point B. So, whatever this distance is equal to this distance. Okay? So, from AC, from point A to point C, equate natin sa distance ng B to C. Alright? So, using the B is 10, -6. Using the distance formula between 2 points. Okay? So, A and C. It does not matter kung sino yung mas mauna, ano yung point 1, point 2 natin. So, we just subtract the x coordinates together so that x minus -2, hindi ko na isusulat yun, diretso na x plus 2 squared. Diba? So, yung x minus -2 is x plus 2 squared. Plus, the difference between the y coordinates, that is y minus 3 squared. Diba? Equate natin kay square root of x, ito naman, tsaka yung b, ito naman is from point B to point C, that's x minus 10 squared plus, yan, y minus -6, so that's y plus 6 squared. Okay. Ngayon dito sa equation natin, dalawa yung unknowns natin, x and y. Di ba? Dalawa yung unknowns natin, x and y. So, kailangan natin gawin itong one lang yung unknown, isa lang yung unknown. Ano ba yung alam natin kahit point C? Itong point C, nandito siya sa x-axis, tama? So, ang ibig sabihin nito, wala siyang vertical distance from the origin. Diba? Wala siyang vertical distance from the origin. Ang ibig sabihin nito, yung point C, ang kanyang y coordinate ito, should be equal to 0. Equal to 0 kasi nga wala siyang displacement or hindi siya nag-move along the y distance, vertical distance. Ibig sabihin lahat ng y dito should be equal to 0. Okay? Ito lahat ng y is equal to 0. So ito ay equal to 0, this is equal to 0. So natira na lang is yan. Para matanggal yung square root, we can square both sides. Okay? Hindi naman, we can square both sides. So, ang natira dito is x plus 2 squared. I-expand na natin. Okay lang? So, this is x squared plus, squared natin ito, that's 4x plus 4. That's negative 3 squared. So, plus 9 is equal to x squared minus 20x. 20x plus 100 plus 36. Okay? So, we can cancel itong x squared kasi parehas na merong x squared on both sides. We can cancel x squared. So, ang natira is 4x. Tapos, natin yung 20x. So, that's 20x equals, ito 136. Pag pinag-add natin yan, tapos i-minus natin yung 36. 13 pala. 4 plus 9 is 13. So, minus natin yung 13. Okay? So, we have 24x. Yan. So, we have 24x is equal to 123. Yan. So, we divide both sides by 24. So, the x-coordinate is 41 over 8. So, ibig sabihin, the required point is so the required point is 41 over 8, 0. So, 0 yung kanyang y-coordinate. Yan. So, yan na yung sagot natin for this one. Okay, so that's how we use the distance between 2 points. Okay, do you have any question dito sa distance between 2 points? Mga tayo taul de asini. Okay, let's go to our next topic. Our next topic is on division of line segment. Okay. So let us divide yung wait lang. Okay, so diretso na tayo sa doon sa formula natin. Okay, suppose kagaya kanina meron tayong line segment P1 and P2. P1, P2. Alright, and then i-divide natin siya. I-divide natin itong points na to. Meron tayong point of division dito. Tawagin natin P sub 0, okay, or P sub O. Okay, this is any point between P1 and P2. Okay, so let us construct a right triangle dito. Yan. Ito, tawagin natin na Q. This is point Q. Ito, tawagin natin na naglalag itong computer ko. So this is point Q and this is point R. Okay? Okay, so meron tayong ano dito, meron tayong two triangles, dalawang right triangles, ano? So meron tayong if you use the right triangle, itong ano, using similar triangle, P1PO and over P1P2, that's the hypotenuse, di ba? Equate natin doon sa sides, ito, QPO at saka RP2. Okay, mag-introduce tayo ng ratio, okay? The distance between itong na distance na to, divided by the total distance P1, P2 is R, okay? We introduce yung ratio. Dito yung laptop ko na kaya. R is equal to P1, PO over P1, P2. So ito is actually equal to R, okay? So itong R, this is, anong pangalan nito? This is the ratio, no? The ratio between line segment P1, PO over P1, P2. Okay? So if kapag ginamitan natin ito, ginamit itong right triangle na ito, we can solve for the coordinates of this point, itong PO na to. Okay? If for example, if P1 has coordinates x1, y1, tapos itong P2 has coordinates x2, y2, okay, using the similar triangle, we will come up with the x coordinate of PO, tawagin natin x sub 0 or y x sub O and y sub O. Okay? So itong x sub O, yan, itong x sub O is equal to the x coordinate ng P1 plus itong R na to multiplied by the difference of their x coordinates. Tapos yung y sub O naman is equal to y1, parehas ang y1 plus R, tapos y2 minus y1. Okay, this formula came dito sa right triangle na to. Okay, yung derivation naman nito nasa in-upload ko na book. Okay, ito na lang. So, ito yung formula natin to solve for the x coordinates and y coordinate of the point PO na nagdi-divide sa line segment P1 and P2 natin. Ngayon dito, nakadepende itong natin nakadepende yung R. Ang natin kasi dito is the value of R. Yung value ng R nakadepende kung nasaan yung PO. Kasi itong example natin nito, PO is between P1 and P2. Pwede din na yung PO natin is nandito, nag-i-extend natin nandito yung PO. Or pwede din nandito sa before P1. Pwedeng nandyan din yung PO. So meron tayong tatlong cases dito. Kapag yung itong case 1 natin, case 1 is when PO is between P1 and P2. Kapag yung PO natin between P1 and P2, yung R natin is between 0 and 1. Okay? So kapag yung PO is between P1 and P2, isulat ko dito, PO is between P1 and P2. Okay? Kapag nasa gitna. Ano yung PO? Kagaya ng example natin dito. So, ang masasolve natin na value ng R dapat ay between 0 and 1. Okay? But in the case when PO lies on the extension through P2, nag-extend. Kapag nag-extend yung line natin through P2, extension, isulat ko dito, extension through P2. Dito. So, ang masasolve natin na R dito ay greater than 1. Okay? Siyempre, yung P1, PO natin, mas malaki na kaysa kay P1, P2. In this case, R is greater than 1. Okay? And for case 3, in the case where nandito si PO, extension through P1, extension through P1, yan, yung R natin should be less than 0. Negative, ano, yung ating R. Di ba? Kasi dito, we are talking about directed line, siyempre. Okay? Ito, directed line. Nangyari ulit. So this is directed line. Directed line lahat yan. Okay? Yan. So kapag yung extension natin ay through P1, so magkakaroon tayo ng negative na value ng R natin. Alright? Okay. And then, kapag yung PO natin, itong PO is exactly between point P1 and P2, itong PO, so this distance is equal to this distance. Parehas yung distance niya, yung PO to P1 tsaka PO to P2. Nagkaroon tayo ng midpoint. Okay? Yung PO natin, kapag equal yung distance niya from P1 to tsaka P2, yung PO tinatawag natin na midpoint. And we have a formula kapag sinubstitute natin yung R natin dito, R is equal to 1/2. Kapag ganon. Kapag sinubstitute natin R is equal to 1/2, in this case, masosolve natin yung midpoint formula. Okay? So yung midpoint formula, this is the case where your PO is exactly between point P1 and point P2. So yung XO natin is just the average of that X coordinate. Tapos yung YO natin is just the average of the Y coordinate. Yan. So ito ang tinatawag natin na midpoint formula. Yan. That's how we compute for PO when it's the midpoint. Okay? Okay. So let us have an example using itong mga formulas na ito. Okay, example. Okay, find the coordinates of point PO. Wala, malala na itong computer ko. Bakit naglalag? Find the coordinates of point PO that is 2/3 of the way from point P1 with coordinates -2, -1 to P2 with coordinates 3, 2. Yan. So, meron tayong dalawang points dito. Ngayon, tinatanong ano daw yung point PO that will divide yung line segment na ito 2/3 of the way. Okay? Let us draw a simple sketch siguro dito. Okay. So negative 2, negative 1 is nandito, nandiyan si P1, tapos nandito si P2, ano? So ganyan. So assuming this is 2/3 of the way is basically 2:1. So nandito yung hinahanap natin na PO. So ano daw yung x coordinate nito? So ang tanong lang naman dito is what is R? Okay, what is the value of R? R, since PO is between P1 and P2, we can expect na dapat R is between 0 and 1. Remember, R is P1 PO over the total distance P1 P2. So in this case, that is 2/3 kasi 2/3 of the way. So this is 2/3. The total distance is 3 to yung from P1 to PO. Binigay naman na dito, PO is 2/3 of the way. So R natin is 2/3. Okay? Yung pag ano lang ng R, yan lang yung medyo komplikado na dito. But if you know R, pwede mo nang isolve yung XO tsaka YO. XO is X1 plus R times the difference between the X coordinates. Di ba? Balik tayo dito yan. So, this is equal to negative 2 plus 2/3 tapos 3 minus negative 2, so that's plus 2. 3 minus negative 2, ano? So this is equal to 4/3. Okay? The same is true for YO. So we have Y1 plus R, Y2 minus Y1. So Y1 is negative 1 plus 2/3 of 2 minus negative 1. So that's 2 plus 1. 2 minus negative 1, and we'll come up with 1. Therefore, PO has coordinate 4/3, 1. Yan. So yan na yung sagot natin. PO is 4/3, 1. Yan yung kanyang coordinate. Okay? Basta, ang ano lang dito is yung R. Medyo nakakalito lang yung R. Depende kung, ito naman yung mga cases, may 3 cases, nakadepende kung saan nag-extend yung point. PO. Pinakamadali dito is case 1, di ba? Kapag PO is between P1 and P2. Okay? So itong formula na to, hindi na natin gagamitin yan kapag midpoint ang pinag-usapan kasi meron na tayong direct formula for the midpoint. All right? Do you have any question with this one? Okay, let us go to inclination and slope. Okay. Inclination okay, inclination and slope. Inclination or slope is the angle, di ba? Ang ano natin ito is the angle from the positive x-axis. Naman yan. Meron tayong ano. Yan. So, positive direction of the x-axis. Okay, let us try to draw our x and y coordinate. Tapos, if we have a point, line L dito, ito yung X natin, ito yung Y natin. Okay, this is line L. Ano? Line L, ang kanyang inclination or slope, the inclination is this one, this angle. Yan, yung inclination of line L. Okay? So, ang symbol natin for the inclination is maarteng L. Maarteng L. Ganyan. Maarteng L. This is our symbol for inclination. Okay? The inclination L of a non-horizontal line is always between 0 and 180. Ano? So for example, pwede din kapag to the left yung ano ng line natin. Suppose that's the X and Y coordinate. Tapos yung line natin pag ganito. Ganyan. Ang inclination is always from the positive X. So yan yung inclination natin in that case, di ba? So yung inclination is always between 0 and 180 degrees. Yan. If the inclination is 0, then L, the line L is parallel or coincident with the x-axis. Okay? Kapag yung inclination ay 0, ibig sabihin horizontal yung line natin. Okay? If the inclination is between 0 degrees and 90 degrees, the line is slants upward to the right, kagaya ng first na ano natin. Kapag ganito, upwards to the right yung line natin, the inclination is between 0 and 90 degrees. Okay, dito naman sa pangalawang figure natin, if the line is slants upward to the left naman, then our inclination is between 90 degrees and 180 degrees. Therefore, the inclination is a means of identifying the slant of the line. All right. Now, what is the relationship between the inclination of the line and the slope of the line? Okay. The slope of the line is equal to the tangent, the tangent of the inclination. Okay. So the relationship, yung slope natin, the slope of the line symbol natin for slope is M, ba? The slope of the line is actually equal to the tangent of the inclination. Okay, ganyan. Parang alpha na, no? Tangent of the, yan. Tangent of the inclination. So ito yung relationship ngayon ng slope and the inclination. Yan. So the slope of the line is equal to the tangent of the inclination. Okay? So kapag horizontal, then the inclination is 0, tangent of 0 is 0, meaning the slope is 0. Okay? Kapag yung inclination natin ay kapag itong inclination natin ay between 0 and 90, the slope is positive kasi the tangent between 0 and 90 is positive. Okay? Kapag yung inclination natin ay between 90 and 180, the slope is negative. So itong to the right na upward to the right, this has a positive slope. Itong upward to the left, this has a negative slope or downward to the right. Okay? Ngayon, ano naman kapag vertical when the inclination is 90 degrees? If the inclination is 90 degrees, vertical yung line natin, the slope is undefined. Okay? The slope is undefined when the inclination is 90 degrees because tangent of 90 is undefined. Alright? Okay. Ngayon, if we have 2 points, the slope of the line, we can actually express in terms of the coordinates. Kapag meron tayong meron tayong line with 2 points, kagaya ng kanina, the slope can be defined by using the points on the line. Okay, so this is X, that's Y. Yeah. So the slope of this line, for example, we have P1 here with coordinates X1, Y1, and P2 with coordinates X2, Y2. Diba? Diba, parang may right triangle dito. Ito yung inclination niya. The tangent is actually equal to this one and this one. So actually, tangent of the inclination is equal to yan. So therefore, this M is equal to this vertical distance here. That's Y2 minus Y1 all over the horizontal distance there na X2 minus X1. Okay? So if we are given 2 points na yan, na may coordinates na X1, Y1 saka X2, Y2, then we can solve for the slope using the formula M is equal to Y2 minus Y1 all over X2 minus X1. Of course, in this case, hindi pwedeng maging parehas yung X2 tsaka X1. Kasi kapag parehas yung X2 tsaka X1, di ba, vertical line na yan. This, the value of the slope will become undefined, di ba? Kapag parehas yung X2 tsaka X1 natin. Okay? So, for example, we have 2 points and we want to find the slope. Of the line through 5, 0 and 1, negative 3. So we are going to find the slope of the line through 5, 0 saka 1, negative 3. So dito, it does not matter ulit kung nasaan yung P1 or P2 mo, ano? Okay, basta dapat consistent ka. Kung ito yung P1 mo, dapat ito yung X1, ito yung Y1. Kung ito yung P1 mo, dapat X1, Y1 yan. Okay? So the slope is, that's the difference on the Y. So kung ito yung P1 natin, if this is our P1, tapos ito yung P2 natin, so the slope is the difference in the Y. That's negative 3 minus 0 all over 1 minus 5. Kung titignan nyo dito, dito negative 3 muna, so dapat yung 1 din yung mauna dito sa baba. Okay? So, this is equal to negative 3 over negative 4, which in turn will give us positive 3 over 4. Okay? So, the slope of the line passing through these 2 points, 5, 0, and 1, negative 3, is 3 over 4. Okay, 3 over 4. Okay, that's how we find the slope of the line if we are given 2 points. Okay. Kung titignan nyo ito, M is equal to Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. Itong Y2 minus Y1 is actually the vertical distance, tama? Itong vertical distance na to, this is Y2 minus Y1. Tapos itong horizontal distance, this is X2 minus X1. So basically, itong nasa taas, itong numerator natin na to, this is the vertical. Kaya tinawag natin usually yung slope is rise over run. Diba? This is rise over run. Kasi ito, y2 minus y1 is the vertical distance. Itong x2 minus x1 is the horizontal distance between the points. Yun yung slope. Okay? So, if we know the slope of the line, for example, if we know the slope of the line, tapos, given tayo ng isang point, how do we draw the line? Okay, example, draw the line through the point 4, 2 with a slope of 2/3. Yan. So draw the line through the point 4, 2 and with a slope of 2/3. Alright? So, i-ano natin dito, i-draw muna natin yung point na 4 to ano. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Tapos 1, 2. Okay, assuming nandyan yung point natin. And then to draw a line, kailangan lang natin ng dalawang points actually, no? Meron na tayong isang point, yung pangalawang point can be plotted using the slope, di ba? The slope, remember the slope is rise over run. Kapag positive, balik tayo doon kanina sa inclination. Kapag positive yung slope, upward to the right siya, di ba? This is a positive slope. Kapag naman downward to the right siya, this is a negative slope. Yan. Kapag horizontal, the slope is 0. Kapag vertical, this is m is 0. Kapag vertical, m is undefined. Di ba? Ngayon, ang given sa atin ay positive na slope. How do we plot the second point? Okay. So ngayon, di ba, rise over run yan, 2/3. So tataas tayo ng 2 and then we go horizontal by 3, 2/3. So mumato tayo to 2 points so that from the given point, we have 1, 2, assuming na nandyan yan, 2, and then 3 points to the right. 1, 2, 3. So nandito yung third point natin. So if this is our first point, for example, this is 4, 2, tumaas tayo ng dalawa. So ang y coordinate na nito ay 4. Ang kanyang y coordinate ay nag-add tayo ng 3, 7, 4 na yung second na point. And then connect the point. Yun lang naman yung meron na tayong point kasi kailangan lang natin ng dalawang point para ma-draw yung line. Yan, assuming na dumaan siya doon sa point na yun. Okay? So ganun lang yung pag-plot ng line if you are given a point and the slope of the line. Okay? Okay, so and then finally, itong parallel and perpendicular lines. Okay, parallel lines are lines that do not intersect, di ba? Parallel lines are lines that do not intersect no matter how long you extend the lines together. Okay? A parallel and perpendicular. Perpendicular. perpendicular lines. Okay, so parallel lines are lines with the same inclination or with the same slope. Diba? So, for example, if we have a line here, a parallel line is a line with the same inclination. So in this case, itong dalawang line na to, tawagin nating L1 tsaka L2. These are two parallel lines kasi parehas yung kanilang inclination. Parehas yan. Yan. Parehas yung kanyang inclination. So in this case, the slope of the first line is equal to the slope of the second line. So for parallel lines, ang symbol natin, L1 is parallel, ganyan, ano? L1 is parallel to L2, then M1 is equal to M2. So kapag parallel daw yung dalawang linya, their slopes are equal. Okay? Their slopes are equal. Ngayon, how about perpendicular lines? Perpendicular lines naman are those lines na kapag nag-intersect, may 90 degree yung kanilang angle of intersection ba. Okay? For example, if this is our line L1, yung line L2 natin ay ganyan. Yan. Ito yung L2 natin. Yan. So meron tayong 90 degree dito na angle between L1 and L2. So these are normal lines. So line 1 is perpendicular to L2. Sometimes, ang ano natin dito, normal. L1 is normal to L2. Okay, normal. Ang ano naman natin dito, L1 is perpendicular, ganyan naman, to L2. Okay. L1 is perpendicular to L2. So in this case, kapag perpendicular lines, yung kanilang slope ay, if we multiply the slopes together, M1 times M2, we should come up with -1. Okay? Kapag pinag-multiply natin yung M1 sa M2, dapat -1 yung result for perpendicular lines. Ano? So we can actually write here na yung M1 is the negative reciprocal of M2. Or M2 is the negative reciprocal of M1. So yan yung relationship ng slopes ng dalawang perpendicular lines. Okay? So kapag parallel lines, parehas yung slope. Kapag perpendicular lines, yan yung relationship. The product of M1 and M2 is -1. Alright? So, example tayo. Example. Okay, show that line L1, line 1, with point A and to -C and B 5, 2 is parallel. Show that line 1 with 2 points A and B is parallel to line L2 with coordinates C, -7, -3, and D, -4, 5. Yan. So, meron tayong dalawang lines dito, L1 passing through point A and B. Tapos meron tayong L2 passing through points C and D. So para ma-show natin that they are parallel, bakit dalawa yan? Parallel. Para ma-show natin that the two lines are parallel, we have to compute for the slope of each line. So M1 muna, no? M1 is the slope of the first line. So M1 is equal to, given tayo ng dalawang points, so we can use the y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This is the slope of line AB. Ano? So y2 minus y1, so that's 2 minus negative 6. So that's 2 plus 6. All over x2 minus x1, that's 5 minus 2. So we have 8 over 3. For M2, okay, so that's line CD. 5 minus negative 3, so that's 5 plus 3, all over negative 4 minus negative 7, so negative 4 plus 7. So 8 over 3. Parehas sila, no? Since M1 is equal to M2, parehas sila ng slope, then L1 is parallel to L2. Okay? So, na-show natin that L1 and L2 are parallel. Okay? So, I think mag-end tayo doon for, hindi, meron tayong isa. Angle between, angle between two lines. Okay? The angle between two lines naman is, the angle from line L1 to another line L2 is the angle formed by rotating L1 counterclockwise until it coincides with L2. Okay? So how do we do that? Angle between two lines. Suppose meron tayong ano dito, X and Y. And then meron tayong line L1. And this is line L1. And we have line L2. And we have line L2. Okay. So, the angle between the two lines is solved by taking itong L1 tapos rotating counterclockwise until it coincides with L2. Okay? So in this case, the angle of inclination is angle between the two lines is this one. Okay, so this is theta. Theta yung ano symbol natin, the angle between the two lines. Yan. So theta ang ano natin, notation natin for the angle between the two lines. Okay? So if two non-vertical lines L1 and L2 have slopes, M1 and M2, then theta is the angle from L1 to L2. So kapag ano natin yan, sinolve natin yan using yung ano natin kanina, mga different concepts na napag-aralan natin, we will come up with an equation that the tangent of the angle theta, the tangent of the angle theta is equal to M2 minus M1 all over 1 plus M1 M2. Okay, parang yung formula natin ito ng ano, di ba? Double angle identity. Yung double angle identity for tangent. So ito yung formula natin for the angle theta, the angle between two lines. Okay, so that's the angle between the two lines formula. Okay, so let us take a look at an example dito. Okay, find the tangent of the angle theta from the line L1 through -2, -3, and 4, 3 to the line L2 through -1, 6, and 3, -2. Yan. So this is basically direct substitution dito sa formula natin. Pero kailangan muna natin i-solve yung slopes ng line 1 at saka line 2. So for M1, the slope of line 1, given tayo ng dalawang points, so we can use the y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that's 3 minus -3. So that's 3 plus 3 over 4 minus -2. So that's 4 plus 2. This is equal to 6 over 6, which is equal to 1. For the slope of the second line, we have -2 minus 6 over 3 minus -1. So that's 3 plus 1, which is equal to -2. Yan. So alam na natin yung M1 saka M2, direct substitution na doon sa formula natin that the tangent of theta is M1 minus M2 minus M1, so that's -2 minus 1 all over 1 plus M1 M2. Okay, -2 times 1. So this is -3 over -1, so that's +3. So tangent of theta is equal to 3. Since ang tinatanong naman is the tangent of the angle, so yan na yung ating sagot. But if kapag ang tinatanong is the angle mismo, then the theta is, ito na yung sagot natin sa problem, no? Pero kapag ang tanong is the angle, that's the inverse tangent of 3. Ito yung magiging sagot natin, kapag yung angle, yung tinatanong. Using your calculator, you can solve for this one. Okay? Okay, I think doon na tayo magtatapos for chapter 11. Do you have any question regarding sa chapter na to? Meron ba? For example, no kasano maala de R, no haan nga given. R doon sa division of line segment. Meron naman tayong formula for R, Diretso ito yung formula natin. R is P1PO over P1P2. But remember, yung line natin is directed from P1 to P2. So kung P1PO, okay. So for example, kung nandyan yung P1 natin at saka nandito yung P2, so So P1, PO is this distance. But remember, going there is positive. So positive yung P1, PO natin. Positive din yung P1, P2 natin. Yeah. Pero for example, if yung P1, P2 natin ay nandito, at saka yung PO natin ay nandito. So yung P1, PO natin ay negative. Di ba? Kasi towards sa kabaliktaran yung positive natin. So yung P1, PO is negative, P1, P2 is positive. Kaya naging negative yung case 3 natin kanina. Dito sa case 3, magne-negative yung R natin. Pero the formula is still the same. That R is P1, PO over P1, P2. Yun lang naman yung sa ano natin, sa formula ng R natin. Okay, any more question? Saan kayo makasao? Let's have a 10-minute break. Mag-CR lang ako. Let's have a 10-minute break and then we proceed with chapter 12. Okay lang sa inyo yun?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I will see you in 10 minutes. Break muna. Bathroom break and magmerienda muna kayo. Okay? And then i-ano ko muna yung video, i-pause ko muna yung recording. Okay, so for this chapter, we are going to talk about lines that are parallel to the axis. We are going to talk about the point slope form of the line, the 2-point form of a line, the slope intercept form, the intercept form, the general form, the normal form, the distance between a line and a point, and then families of lines. Okay, so let's go to the lines that are parallel to the axis. I-ano na natin, i-simplify na natin ito. Okay, so lines parallel to the axis. Of course, meron tayong dalawang dito, a line that is parallel to the x-axis and a line that is parallel to the y-axis. Okay? So dito sa first figure natin, we draw a line that is parallel to the y-axis muna, no? Okay, suppose we have a line that is parallel to the y-axis. Yan. Assuming this is vertical. So this line and so for example, kapag ito ay dumaan dito sa 2, dito sa x natin. So ang equation ng line nito is x is equal to 2. Okay, yan yung equation niya kapag parallel siya sa y-axis. So lahat ng points kasi lahat ng points na nandito sa line, ang niya, hindi nagbabago yung kanyang x coordinate. Hindi nagbabago yung kanyang coordinate. For example, if this is say 4, tapos ito ay 1. Mga lang ito, approximation. So ito ay may coordinate na 2, 4. This point 2, 4 is on the line. Itong 2, 1 is also on the line. So kapag vertical yung line natin, yung kanyang x-coordinate ay constant at x equals 2 dito. So ang line na to ay mayroon siyang equation na x equals 2. Okay? Using the same principle naman kapag sa horizontal, if our line is horizontal naman, for example, nandito. So, in this case, kapag horizontal yung ating line at dumaan siya dito kay 2, pare-parehas naman yung mga y-axis natin. Ano? So, in this case, if this is negative 3, tapos ito ay positive 3. So, this is negative 3, 2. Dito naman ay 3, 2. So, yung horizontal line natin, meron siyang constant na y coordinate. So in this case, this line has an equation of y is equal to 2. Okay? Ganun lang yung pag-identify natin ng mga line na horizontal to, parallel to the axis. Ano? Okay. So, sa vertical, constant yung kanyang x-coordinate. Sa horizontal, constant naman yung kanyang y-coordinate. Okay. So let us go to, line that are not parallel to the axis. Ano? So itong line, a straight line is a line na merong constant na direction. Hindi nagbabago yung kanyang direction. So susunod natin na topic dito is the point slope form. Point slope form of a line. Okay? So based from sa pangalan niya, itong form na to ginagamit natin when we are given a point and the slope of the line, di ba? Ginagamit natin ito kapag given tayo ng isang point saka yung slope ng line. So ang formula natin for the point slope form of the line is, galing din siya actually doon sa formula for slope natin na m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Gawin lang natin na mga arbitrary yung y2 tsaka x2. Okay, so in this case, m is y minus y1 all over x minus x1. So galing dito yung formula natin, kapag sinolve natin to, ang ano natin is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So this is the form of a line in point slope form. Ito yung ginagamit natin na formula kapag given tayo ng point saka slope. Ano yung point dito? The point, kapag given tayo ng point, is actually the x1. Itong x1 na to, this is the x coordinate of the point. Itong y1, that is the y coordinate of the point. Tsaka ito yung m natin, the slope. So we just leave itong x na to tsaka y na yan as it is, and we will come up with an equation. Diba? That is the equation of the line. The equation of the line, yung masasolve natin. So for example, find the equation okay. So find the equation of the line with slope 3/4 and which passes through the point -2, 5. Yan. So, dito meron tayong given na slope. Okay, this is the slope. And meron tayong given na point. So, we are going to use the point slope form of the line. So, this is M. Itong x-coordinate, this is our x1. Itong y-coordinate, this is our y1. Okay? So, using the point slope form of the line, y minus y1 is equal to M times x minus x1. Okay? So, substituting the values, we have y minus y1 is 5 is equal to 3/4 times x minus negative 2. So, that's x plus 2. Okay? So, that is now the point slope form of the line. Pero kapag ganitong mga problems, we should write it in general form. Yung mga equations natin, yung mga final na ano natin should be written in general form. Ano ba yung sinasabi kong general form? Yung ax plus by and then plus c is equal to 0. Ganyan, in the form na ganyan. So para ma-solve natin na naka-general form ito, anong gagawin natin? Una, we need to multiply kasi naka-ano ito, di ba? Multiply muna natin ng 4 ito para matanggal yung denominator. So magiging 4y minus 20 is equal to, tapos i-distribute natin yung 3 doon. So 3x plus 3x plus 6. And then, pwede na natin isulat as 3x minus 4y plus 6 plus 20 equals 0. And then, finally, 3x minus 4y plus 26 is equal to 0. So, yan na yung sagot natin. 3x minus 4y plus 26 is equal to 0. Yan na yung tinatanong na equation. Okay? Yun lang yung formula natin when we are given 1 point and the slope of the line. Ngayon, paano naman kapag 2 points ang given? So kapag 2 points ang given, basically we can compute for the slope para magamit natin yung point slope form, ano? Pero meron tayong direct ang formula din na galing din mismo sa ano. Kapag given yung 2 point, so tinatawag natin siya na 2-point form. Okay, remember ano, yung point slope form natin ay y minus y1 is equal to m x minus x1. So sa 2-point form, since hindi given yung slope, substitute lang natin yung slope ng y2 minus y1. Ano? y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 times x minus x1. So basically parehas lang ano? Parehas lang yung ano niya na baliwan lang ni the slope iti formula of the slope. So this is now the 2-point form of the line. That is now the 2-point form of the line. Okay? So yung slope naging y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 lang, okay? Okay? So the principle is the same. Identify lang natin kung ano yung point 1 saka point 2 and then we can go on. So example, find the equation of the line through the points 2, 3, 2, 3, and 6, 5. Yan. Ano daw yung equation ng line passing through the points 2, 3, and 6, 5? So, let this one be the P1, itong 2, 3, tsaka itong 6, 5 is P2. So, substituting doon sa formula natin for the 2-point form, we have y minus y1, that's 3. Ito yung y of the first point, di ba? Is equal to y2 minus y1, that's 5 minus 3 over x2 minus x1, that's 6 minus 2. x2, x1. Multiplied by x minus x1, that's 2. Then, okay, simplifying, we have 2 over 4, that's 1/2, di ba? 2/4, 1/2. X minus 2. Multiplying by 2, we have 2y minus 6. And then distributing the 1, x minus 2. So we have x minus 2y plus 4 is equal to 0. Yan na yung sagot natin. Okay? That's the 2-point form of the line. Okay? Ang susunod, ito yung pinakasikat formula ng line, the slope-intercept form. The slope-intercept form of the line. Okay, so the slope-intercept form of the line is y is equal to mx plus b. Yan na yung equation natin. Ano yung mga parameters natin dyan? Yung m tsaka b lamang. Yan na yung formula natin for the slope-intercept form. M is the slope. Let's draw. This one is the slope. Etong b na to, this is the y-intercept. Okay? Kaya tinawag na slope-intercept form kasi kailangan natin ng slope at saka y-intercept. Ano ba yung y-intercept? The y-intercept is the point where the line crosses the y-axis. For example, if this is our okay, so yeah, suppose this is our x and y axis. So ayan, tapos yan yung line natin is our line L. Itong point na to where the line crosses the y-axis. So this is the y-intercept. Ito naman, syempre, the point where the line crosses the x-axis, yan naman yung x-intercept. Pero dito sa slope-intercept form, ang kailangan natin is the y-intercept. Okay? So B is actually the coordinate of the y-coordinate of this point. Kasi the coordinate of this point is 0 yung kanyang x and then some point B. Itong B, this is the y-coordinate of this point. Later on, dito sa x-intercept, kailangan din natin, ang x-coordinate naman nito, symbol natin ay A. Tapos 0 naman yung y-coordinate dito. Okay, B is actually the distance between the point and the origin. Tapos ito naman is the distance between the y-axis and the, yan naman yung A. The distance between that point and that point. Okay? So dito sa slope-intercept form, ang kailangan natin is the y-intercept. Okay? Y-intercept, that's B. Okay. So let's take a look at some example dito. Find the equation of the line with y-intercept of 2 and the slope of 3. Okay? Find the equation of the line. Find the equation of the line with y-intercept of 2 and slope of 3, 4. So given na, diretso given na yung y-intercept and the slope. So doon sa formula natin na y is equal to mx plus b, direct substitution lang yung m tsaka b. So this is y is equal to 3/4 x plus 2. So yan na yung slope-intercept form. Para para masulat natin in general form, we multiply by 4. So that's 4y is equal to 3x plus 8. So we have 3x minus 4y plus 8 is equal to 0. Yan na yung line natin. Okay, another example dito. Write the equation in the slope-intercept form and find the slope and y-intercept. Okay, so we have the equation. Write the equation 3x plus 4y minus 12 is equal to 0 in the slope-intercept form yan. And find the slope and y-intercept. Okay. So yung given sa atin dito is the equation of the line in general form. Diba? So 3x plus 4y minus 12 is equal to 0. So let's start from there. So 3x plus 4y minus 12 equals 0. So ang goal natin is y is equal to mx plus b. So dapat matira dito sa left side yung y. Okay, so matitira si 4y dito is equal to, punta sa kabila yung 3x, so negative 3x plus 12. And then para y lang yung matira dito sa kabila, we divide everything by 4. So that's y is equal to negative 3x over 4 plus 12 over 4. And then rewriting, we have y is equal to negative 3/4 x plus 3. Okay, nasa y is equal to mx plus b na tayo dito, no? So y is equal to mx plus b. So i-pattern lang natin. So ang m natin dito, m is equal to negative 3/4 and b is equal to 3. Yan. So na-identify na natin yung slope and y-intercept. The slope is negative 3/4. The y-intercept is 3. Okay, so that's the slope-intercept form of the line. Okay, meron din tayong form dito kapag dalawang intercept ang given. Okay, we call it the intercept form. Intercept form. Okay, ito kapag given ay x-intercept and y-intercept. Balik tayo sa ano natin dito, discussion natin dito kanina. Di ba ang x-intercept is the A and the y-intercept is the B. Okay, so dito sa intercept form, gamitin natin yung A and B. The intercept form of the line is x over A plus y over B is equal to 1. Ito yung intercept form of the line. Kapag given yung x and y intercept, substitute lang natin dito yung a tsaka b. O di meron na tayong equation. Ganun lang, ano? Okay, example. Find the equation of the line. Find the equation of the line with x-intercept 5 and y-intercept negative 4. Okay? So diretso lang ito na substitution dito sa formula natin. So x over a is the x-intercept, so that's 5. X over 5 plus y over b, that's y over negative 4, is equal to 1. And then manipulate lang natin to come up with the general form. Multiply natin ito ng least common denominator natin na negative 20. So we have negative 4x plus 5y is equal to negative 20. Kailangan kasing positive itong x para naka-general form siya. I-positive natin yung x. So we have positive 4x minus 5y plus 20 minus 20 is equal to 0. Okay, ito na yung sagot natin. 4x minus 5y minus 20 is equal to 0. Alright? Okay. So, kung titingnan ninyo dito sa figure natin, diba naka-form tayo ng triangle dito? Meron tayong triangle dito formed by the x and y intercept of the line. Yan. This area. Itong area na to, di ba? So alam natin that the area of the triangle is 1/2 base. The base is A, the height is B. So itong area ng yellow shaded part na yan, ito yung formula niya. The area is 1/2 AB. 1/2 the x-intercept times the y-intercept. Okay? So kahit ano dyan actually, pag negative yung kanyang mga values, for example, nasa third quadrant yung triangle na yan, negative yung kanyang x-intercept and y-intercept, kunin lang natin yung absolute value. Okay? Kunin lang natin yung absolute value nito para ma-solve yung area. Yeah? Okay? So kapag tinatanong ano yung area ng form na triangle, you can use that. Okay? If you are given the x and y intercept. Okay? Alright. So, kanina ko pa sinasabi yung general form of the line, ba? So let's talk about the general form of the line. Okay, the general form of a straight line is of the form ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. Di ba? Yan yung general form natin. Where a, b, and c are real numbers. Okay? A and b cannot be both equal to 0. Hindi pwedeng 0 itong dalawang ito. Ano? Pwedeng a lang yung 0 or pwedeng b lang yung 0. Pero kung parehas silang 0, hindi pwede yon. Kasi kapag 0 yung a, 0 yung b, edi constant na lang. C is equal to 0. Hindi na yun pwede. Ano? Okay? Okay. So, when b is equal to 0, kapag ito naging equal to 0, tignan natin ha. I-delete natin ito. For example, when b is equal to 0, itong formula natin magiging ax plus c is equal to 0 na lang. Meaning, x is equal to negative c over a. Ang alam natin dito, x is equal to a number. Ano yung itsura nito? If this is our x and y coordinate, x and y axis, ang itsura niyan ay ganyan. So this is a vertical line. When b is equal to 0, we have a vertical line. Ano? We have a vertical line. Okay? Kapag nakakita ko yun ng equation na walang y, walang itong y term na to, then we have a vertical line. Okay? So, when a is equal to 0 naman, syempre we have a horizontal line naman, ano? When a is equal to 0, ang matitira dito is by plus c is equal to 0. So we have come up with y is equal to negative c over b. And this one, y equals a constant, is a horizontal line. Okay. So, in general, kapag wala, no, kapag walang equal to 0, let's start from the general form. Ax plus by plus c. Ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. Let us write this in the y-intercept form or the slope-intercept form. Okay, isulat natin ito in the slope-intercept form. So matitira yung by, tapos lahat ng yan punta sa kabila. So we have negative ax minus c. Tapos i-divide natin ng b. So we have y is negative a over b x minus c over b. Okay? As you can see dito, di ba? I-pattern natin doon sa equation natin na y is equal to mx plus b. Okay, we can see here that the slope is equal to negative a over b, tsaka yung y-intercept is negative c over b. So kapag pala given tayo ng equation in general form na ganito, ax plus by equals c, we can solve for the slope agad-agad. Ano? The slope is equal to negative a over b. And we can solve for the slope, the y-intercept that's equal to negative c over b. Okay? All right. Okay, ngayon, what if we have two lines? Ano? We have two lines. Bakit ganito? Okay, we have two lines, L1. Meron tayong L1. Siyempre, lagyan natin lahat ng subscript na 1, yung kanyang mga coefficient. AX plus BY plus C is equal to 0. And we have line 2, AX plus BY plus C is equal to 0. Siyempre, dito sa line 1, ano yung kanyang slope? Using ito, M is negative A over B. So this one, the slope of the line is negative A1 over B1. Dito, the slope of the line is equal to, lagyan natin ng subscript, A2, negative A2 over B2. So, kapag parallel, if the two lines are parallel, syempre, equal yung mga slopes nila, tama? M1 is equal to M2. So, pag in-equate natin yan, negative A1 over B1 is equal to negative A2 over B2. Okay? We'll come up with an equation, relating the coefficients of the equation. Magkaroon tayo ng A1 B2 is equal to A2 B1. So yan yung relationship ngayon ng kanilang mga coordinates or mga coefficients kapag parallel yung mga lines. So pwede din natin isulat ito as A1 B2 minus A2 B1 is equal to 0. Ito ngayon yung relationship ng mga coefficients nung line kapag parallel sila. Okay? Pero kapag perpendicular naman, if the two lines are perpendicular, okay, so ano naman yung relationship ng kanilang slope? M1 times M2 should be equal to negative 1, tama? So, i-substitute natin yung mga values ng M1 and saka M2. So, we have negative A1 over B1 multiplied by negative A2 over B2 is equal to negative 1. So, dito we have A1, A2 over B1, B2 is equal to negative 1. So, we can say A1, A2 is equal to negative B1, B2. Or we have A1, A2 plus B1, B2 is equal to 0. Ito naman yung relationship ng mga coefficients or coefficients ng line kapag perpendicular sila. Okay? Okay. So let us take a look at an example dito. Are the lines are the lines 3x minus 4y minus 8 equals 0 and 6x minus 8y plus 24 parallel equals 0 parallel. Yan, tinatanong, parallel ba itong dalawang lines na to? So let's go back to the property. A1B2 minus A2B1 should be equal to 0 for the lines to be parallel, di ba? So i-ano natin, A1B2 minus A2B1. Kunin natin. Kung mag-0 ito, then they are parallel. Kapag hindi nag-0, then they are not parallel. A1 is 3. Ito, the coordinate of the x-coordinate, di ba, nung unang line. So that's 3. B2 is negative 8. Minus A2 is 6. B2 is negative 4. So this is negative 24 minus negative 24. Then, equals 0. Ibig sabihin, they are parallel. So the ano natin dito, yes, they are. Yan. So since nag-equate to 0, so our conclusion is they are parallel lines. Okay? Yun yung mga different forms of the line. Hindi na natin i-ano yung normal line, yung normal form of the line. Okay, those are the different forms ng straight line. Okay, nakadepende sa given, we can use any of this form to come up with the equation of the line. So meron tayong point slope form, the 2-point form, the slope intercept form, the intercept form, and then the general form of the line. Okay? All right, so let us go to the distance between a point and a line. Di ba na ano natin kanina, the distance between 2 points. Okay, paano naman kapag linya, meron tayong linya, tsaka point. Paano natin kukunin yung distance, distance between the point and the line. Okay? So distance between a point and a line. Okay, so we have the x and y. And then let us draw a line. And then meron tayong point. Okay? So this point, P1, ang kanyang coordinates ay x1, y1. Okay, so the distance is the perpendicular distance, the distance na perpendicular dito. Okay, so that is the shortest distance between the point and the line. yung derivation nito is using the normal line, the normal form of the line na hindi naman natin na ano. So I'm going to write itong equation na lang, the formula for the distance. So this is the distance d. The distance d is equal to ax1 plus by1 plus c all over, dito meron tayong positive and negative, positive and negative square root of a squared plus b squared. Okay, so a, meron itong line meron yang equation, di ba, of the form ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. Yan. So meron tayong ax plus by plus c na equation ng line, meron tayong point na ang kanyang coordinates ay x1, y1. So itong a, ito yon kung ano man yung a yan. x1, kung ano man yung x dyan. Yan. So direct substitution lang from the equation and from the point. Ito. Ngayon, ang problema natin dito is ano yung gagamitin natin na sign? Is it positive or the negative? Ano ba? Paano, kapag ba positive yung distance, ano ang ibig sabihin nito? If d is positive, then the point and the origin are on the opposite sides of length L. Okay? Kapag yung d ay positive, that d is greater than 0, yan. If d is greater than 0, then the origin, the 0, 0, yung 0, 0 na point, the origin and P1 are on the opposite sides. Are on the opposite sides of the line L1. Sige, L1 ang tawag natin dito. L1. Yan. So, kapag positive daw, magkabilaan yung origin saka yung point, Pero if d is less than 0 naman, meaning negative, then the origin na 0, 0 and the point P1 are on the same side. Are on the same side of the line L1. So dito sa figure natin, ang origin natin ay nandito, di ba? Nandiyan yung origin, nandito yung point. So in this case, P1 and the origin are on the same side of L. So ang masosolve natin na d dapat dito ay negative, di ba? Negative yung distance. Pero for example, hindi natin alam yung kung nasaan yung L, hindi din natin alam kung nasaan ang point P1, kung nasa pababa siya or nasa taas ng line L. How do we know if ano yung gagamitin natin na sign dito? Positive ba or negative? Okay? So ang rule dito, the sign of the radical is chosen opposite that of C. Okay? Ito, nakadepende ang sign na gagamitin dito sa sign ng C. If C is positive, ang gagamitin natin dito ay negative. Kapag negative ang C, ang gagamitin natin ay positive. So opposite. Opposite of the sign of C. Diba? They are opposite. Kung positive, edi negative gagamitin ko. Kung negative yan, edi positive ang gagamitin ko. So, the opposite sign of C. Ngayon, what if C is equal to 0? If C is equal to 0, the sign of the radical is the same as that of B. Oh, di ba? Opposite of C, pero kapag C is equal to 0, ano natin yung steps niya, no? Una, dapat opposite of C. Yun yung unang titignan natin, ano? But if C is equal to 0, then yung sign na gagamitin is the same as B. Okay, if c is equal to 0, then we are going to use the sign that is the same as that of d. Okay? Since itong d na to is a directed distance, yan, ito yung mga geometric interpretation niya. Okay? Yan yung mga geometric interpretation niya, nakadepende sa sign ng distance. Alright? Okay. Eh kung gusto natin na hindi natin pinapakialaman yung yung position, position ng point na yan. Basta ang kailangan lang natin is the undirected distance. Gusto ko lang na kunin ay yung undirected distance. So undirected distance d, lagyan lang natin ng absolute. The absolute value of ax1 plus by1 plus c. Dito wala ng positive or negative. Diretso na lang na square root of a squared plus b squared. Positive na to, sigurado. Positive dapat dito. This is for the undirected. This is for the undirected distance. Yan yung gagamitin natin if we do not mind the position of the point with respect to the origin. Okay? Or with respect to the line. Okay, let us solve an example. Okay, find the directed distance find the directed distance from the line (3x plus 4y minus 6 is equal to 0 to the point -3, positive 1. Yan. So since it's a directed distance, the sign is very important. So the distance d is equal to ax1 plus by1 plus c all over positive or negative square root of a squared plus b squared. So substitute tayo. A is, parang kinukopya lang natin itong equation actually, papalitan lang natin yung x and y ng mga points, okay? So that's 3 times -3 plus 4 times 1 minus 6 all over. So, ang tanong dito, ano ang gagamitin natin na sign? Is it positive or negative? Titignan natin, that's -6. So, we use the opposite sign of 6. So, that's positive. So, dapat positive ang gagamitin natin dito. Square root of 3 squared plus 4 squared. Okay? So, D is equal to, doon sa taas, we have -11 over, ano ba dito? 3, 9, -9 plus 4, 15 minus 4. Okay, so that's, tama ba yung -11 over 6?
Kanya 5, sir.
Over 5, sir.
-11 over 5.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mali yung libro nga ron. Kaya nga nagtaka din ako. Bakit 6? Ayan. Okay, so the directed distance is -11 over 5. Ano ang ibig sabihin niyan? Negative. So, ibig sabihin niyan, yung point na negative 3, 1, and the origin na 0, 0 are on the same side of the line 3x plus 4y minus 6 equals 0. Okay? The same side sila. Okay? So any questions? Okay. Okay, ito. Hindi na natin ano yung family solve. Okay, so that's the end of chapter 12. Okay. So we talk about the different forms, the forms of a straight line. Nandiyan na yan. And then dito pinag-usapan din natin yung distance between a point and a line. Okay. Baka may nakaligtaan ako. Okay. Okay, we think okay na. Okay na tayo doon. Do you have any question? Bakit parang ang konti ninyong nag-attend ng natin, ng class natin? Okay. So itong sinusulatan ko, itong notebook na ginagamit natin dito, this is OneNote na naka-save sa OneDrive ko, Yung link yung na linagay ko doon sa natin, sa Facebook group natin. You can access our notebook. So makikita niyo itong mga sinusulat ko dito doon. Okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So since ang daming absent ngayon, halos half ng klase, I'm not going to post itong recorded video natin. Basahin nyo na lang yung notebook natin. Okay? Bahala sila. I would excuse da. Kapag absent da. Halos half ng klase wala. Okay? Meron kayong tanong? Meron pa tayong 30 minutes. Okay, sige. Gamitin ko na lang yung fundamentals. Ay, isumot lang ang iso, DJ. Ay, wait. Hindi ko pa na-update pala yung scan copy ng libro natin for chapter 12. Ano? Sige, i-update ko yun later mamaya. Okay, so as your attendance, since meron pa tayong 30 minutes, I'm going to give sheet work, ano? Para sa inyo. This is a group work. So, ganun pa din yung ano natin, yung rule natin sa written. Yung kung group kayo, dapat pare-parehas yung sagot ninyo, ano? Pero you have to upload your solution individually. Yun lang dapat pare-parehas yung magkaka-group. Okay? So, okay, ito. Find the between the parallel line (3x minus y minus 10). Ito lang yung magsisilbing attendance ninyo. And then 3x minus y is equal to 0. Kopyahin nyo na yung problem. Kopyahin nyo na yung problem. Okay, hangkay nga aglilid pa dito. Ilak ko 'yung meeting para wala nang maka-attend na iba. Ax plus by minus 13 is equal to 0 is 6. The sum of the coefficients is 6. If the slope of the line is 7, find A and B. Okay. And then, siguro isa sa chapter 11 siguro. Dito sa division of line segment. is produced beyond P1 to PO. So that PO P1 equals 5/3 of P1 P2. Find the coordinates of this. Yan. Ito, these are the 3 problems na sagutan nyo as a group, ano? So, ang mangyari dito, I will group you into, 118, 117, I will group you into, into 25 groups. This will be random, ano? We'll talk with the group and we come up with the solution for each one. You talk among your group. Pag-usapan nyo yung mga sagot ninyo. In the end, dapat pare-parehas kayo ng sagot. Ilagay nyo yung pangalan, pangalan, saka group number doon sa taas ng papel ninyo. Yung file name dapat ganito, last name. Yung file name nito, last name underscore first name or yung initial, first name initial underscore group number. Ganyan dapat yung file name lang ipapasa ninyo. Okay? Your group number depends on your breakout room number. Okay? So as long as mapunta na kayo sa breakout rooms ninyo, you can start answering, and you have until siguro 6 p.m. to submit your solution sa MBLE under chapter 11 and 12. I-stop recording ko na.
Sir, pakidubli mo ang DJ file name.